Hopefully as dangerous as the Kelly gang, they say.
We tried to get work, but could not. We fasted, day after day. We had been without food for 48 hours when we reached Wantabadgery. Misery and hunger produced despair, and in one wild hour we proved how much the wretched dare. At Wantabadgery, I courted death. I was not so important as my friends were. One, as good a friend as ever lived, with as soft a heart and as kind a man. He died in my arms. If a victim is to suffer, I should like to do so, and hold these lads innocent. I alone commanded. These boys, they did as I bid them. But though not guilty of the blood of anybody, I am ready to suffer for their sake, and answer for breaking the laws of the country. Look at these boys. Think before you give your verdict, and do not cut them off before they have arrived at manhood. My power, my leadership, their guilt was snapped when they cried surrender. From that time they were innocent. If the law has been so broken that it must be avenged with a human life, then let me be the victim, and spare these youths. God created them for something nobler than the gallows. I have said all, your worship.
Gentlemen of the jury, I shall now give my summation and direction. The law holds everyone responsible for his actions, unless he can show peculiar circumstances in the way of coercion. The only kind of coercion which the law demands as an excuse is coercion by actual force. But if a man chooses to shoot a person because another person threatens him, even with death, the law holds him responsible. It is a man's duty to die rather than commit a crime in that way. A charge of murder will mean death for those in the docks, but you should not shy from the conviction. Should it be said that a lad of 17 years is to be allowed to shoot people simply because he is ordered to do so by some ruffian who has gained some power over him? The position of these young men is pitiable. But you are not here to consider how far the prisoners must be pitied. The question is, are they responsible for their actions, and whether, in course, their conduct shows that they were acting by arrangement? For, even if only one pulled the fatal trigger, if they all had common designs in that act, they are all as guilty.
The jury are returning to give their verdict.
On the charge of the murder of Constable Bowen, we find Andrew Scott guilty. Thomas Rogan guilty. Thomas Williams guilty. Graham Bennett guilty. For the prisoners Rogan, Williams, and Bennett, we recommend mercy.
Thank you, members of the jury each. You are dismissed. Misters Williams and Bennett, in light of your relative youth, the recommendation of mercy is accepted. Your sentences are commuted to prison time. Andrew George Scott and Thomas Rogan. The sentence of this court is that you will be taken from here to the place from whence you came, and there be kept in close confinement until January the 20th, 1880, and upon that day that you will be taken to the place of execution and there hanged by the neck until you are dead. And may God have mercy upon your souls.